it is visible to
Yes,
others?
yes, yes, yes. Still resume your presentation.
Okay, fine. So I can go ahead now.
Yeah. ಅದು ರೆಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿ.
ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ.
ಹಾ ಸರ್, ಹಾ ಸರ್.
ನಿಮಿಷ. I have to go back to the.
Yeah sir.
You are now it says you are no longer.
ಅಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ನಾವು ಅಂತ.
Got it. Now it is fine.
One second, I think ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಈಗ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್
you have to share again. You have to
share that entire screen.
Yeah, share the screen.
Go back to share screen. ನೀವು ದೊಡ್ಡದು ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್, ಅದು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ.
ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
Resume your presentation, Akash.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Resume your presentation. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, yes sir.
So let us see. Now you are able to get it. So
now we are able to see. You are hide. You just do that hide, Akash. Yeah. Hide and you can full screen ಮಾಡಿ sir, ಅದನ್ನ FI ಮಾಡಿ.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just telling that he spent some time with Robert Millikan, and then I also told that he had a lot of warm welcome from J.J. Thomson and Lord Rutherford. And I was also telling you about the Indian percussion instruments. We have a very good experiment here in our UG, where you just take a wooden box, and then close the box. So it has three different, it has a length, breadth, and the height. And then close the box. At one end of one corner of the box, you just excite it by a speaker and give some sine wave to that speaker. Then and allow it to go, and other corner, diagonally opposite corner, you put a microphone and then give that output to an oscilloscope. You'll be able to see a beautiful standing wave pattern in this. That is the type of work what Raman was doing at that time. And so his main contribution was on the Indian percussion instruments, tabla and mridangam. Okay, then he has to come back to Bombay. But on his return trip from London to Bombay, he was on the ship. The name of the ship was SS Narakunda. So he was there, and nobody knew what is happening to Professor Raman. But at that time, he had already thought what should be his future. So he started continuously thinking during that 15 days voyage, and he was restless, and his probing mind became fascinated. Why the deep color of the Mediterranean is like this? Why there is a blue color in this Mediterranean? And he was not convinced, Lord Rayleigh's explanation that the color of sea is just a reflection of the color of the sky. Raman proceeded, and then he said, no, this is not due to the reflection of the color from the sky, but he thought that he had some other ideas, and he immediately, by the time the ship docked in Bombay, he was ready with a paper, and he published it in Nature. He sent that letter to the editors and then published it in Nature. Then Raman was very clear, and he showed conclusively that the color of the sea was the result of scattering of sunlight by the water molecules. It is not the reflection of the sunlight, reflection of the sky. Ironically, it was exactly at the same time Rayleigh also invoked the same argument, and he said the blue color of the sea is due to the he explained that the color of the sky is due to the scattering of light by the air molecules, and that's how the color blue comes. Now, Raman's mind was obsessed with the phenomenon of light scattering. His group at Calcutta began extensive series of measurement. See, that 15 days what he spent in the ship, probably we would have slept nicely, whereas Raman was continuously thinking, and he could get into such a thing that he wanted to study this light scattering by different solids, liquids. He continuously asked his co-workers to go on with those experiments. As a result, Raman was able to explain the blue color observed in the ice of alpine glaciers. Analysis of light scattered by liquid is not easy task, and much early work in Calcutta was also done with visual observation of color rather than precise measurements of light's wavelength as shown. So I will tell you the fundamentals of Raman's crucial experiment and how sharp was Raman's mind. This is how the experiment was done. Sunlight is passed through a glass prism. Then it splits into its constituent colors ranging from 350 nanometer to 700 nanometer. This is what we call as VIBGYOR. Then they selected a violet light. Again, in the second figure, you will see that sunlight, which is white, has been put through, and then you put a violet filter and select the violet color. Why violet? Because that happens to be the highest frequency and very high energy compared to any other color. Then that is put on the scattering liquid. The liquid is placed there and put on the scattering liquid. What do you expect? You expect all the light to be scattered from the liquid, and that is what we call as Rayleigh scattering. This was observed by Lord Rayleigh, and he used to always argue for this. But Raman's mind somehow thought there is something else. He said there is some light. That's why we call it as Raman scattered light. Actually, it was not known at that time as Raman scattered light. He said there should be some other frequency. But the observation was so difficult because if you take green light as 1, the intensity of the red light of the violet light was 10 to the power of 6 times the intensity of the green light. Hence, to observe green light of such low intensity with in the presence of a high intensity of violet was very difficult. So Raman thought of a very nice, naive and a simple idea: put a green filter, so that violet will not enter into the observer at all, only the green light will enter. So that's how he detected the entire Raman effect. Now, if you ask me what is the specialty of Raman, I would say using a green filter is the specialty of the observer. All other people were doing the same type of experiments, but you see, it occurred only to this prodigy mind where it has to be done with a green filter, and he was able to observe the green light. So again, let me just summarize. The violet light of the solar spectrum is isolated with a violet filter and passed through the liquid sample. Most of the light emerging from the liquid sample is of the same color. That is the violet. That is the incident beam. Then that is what is called as this Rayleigh scattered light. Whereas Raman and Krishna were able to show that some of this scattered light was of a different color. That is the green color, which they could isolate by using a green filter and placed between the observer and the sample. The filter was placed between the observer and the sample. The advantage of this visual observation is that several substances could be done very quickly. So then Raman wrote a paper in his, he sent a report to the Nature. Nature is one of the famous journals which publishes the scientific papers. And the paper was entitled A New Type of Secondary Radiation. Raman indicated that approximately 60 different liquids had been studied because it was all visual observation and all of them showed the same result. Then he said, this is the new, this is actually the paper which was a very highly cited paper. Then some scattered light had a different color than the incident light. It is thus, Raman said, a phenomenon whose universal nature has to be recognized. He said, this is the observation now, but it is not yet explained. So it is a phenomenon which is of universal nature. Any liquid I take or any substance I put in the path, then you will see that there is a different color which is produced. And basically, the Raman effect is a very weak effect. That means that, as I told you, only 1 in a million of the scattered light particles or photons actually exhibit the change in the wavelength. It is, I will come back to this little later. So you will see that if you have the violet light, which is of 10 to the power of 6 times that of the green light, how difficult it is to look at the green light. But this is where Raman started thinking that there should be some part which is coming from the sample. And this is the reason why Raman effect was not discovered earlier. It is not that people were not doing the experiment. All of them are doing the experiment, but this keen mind of putting a filter and looking at the looking at the light from the sample was a very important part of the entire discovery. In all the earliest light scattering studies, the excitation source was only sunlight. Of course, sunlight was very plentiful in Calcutta, but it did not have the enough intensity. So what Raman did is he acquired a 7-inch refracting telescope, with which he could condense the sunlight and create a more powerful light source for his studies. This happened in 1927. IACS got this 7-inch refracting telescope. By early 1928, mercury arc lamps were commercially available, and he switched to his experiments with the more intense light, which is the mercury lamp. Raman knew that only visual and qualitative observations. He said, see what happens if I pass this light, this is what happens. There is one radiation which comes out from the sample which is of different color. But it's all qualitative observation. He knows that if I give this type of qualitative and observations, the